All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Outsider League Finals. We have a great match today here for you between the game's creator and Kurimo enthusiast Ricardo versus Jack. My name is RG Commander, and today I am joined by Darth Jar Jar, also known as James. James, welcome, and thank you for
Hi
joining.
guys, hi from the UK. We're covering this from all sides of the globe, and I am just as excited as you, I think, for this one tonight.
This game started off, as a dream project between the Neri brothers. They released it through Kickstarter. We gathered massive support as a group, and due to the coronavirus situation that's affecting the globe, we realized that in-person play was going to be limited. So as a result, decided to host this Outsider League tournament to promote the game and help spread the game's name through the online community. We had a total of about 100 people join in the league, and we're now down to the final two tonight.
And if this is your first exposure to Skyter, get ready for a real treat, because this game combines aspects of card games like Magic with traditional MOBAs such as League of Legends or Dota, and you can really see that here on the table already. There's some minions and towers set up, and pretty soon we're going to get into drafting the heroes for each team.
And one of the biggest appeals that I use as a selling point for this particular game, it has all the fun of a MOBA without any of the salty personalities to go with it.
Yes, very true. Very true. Although there is a flip table function in TTS, which I'm sure lots of us have used in our games through this tournament.
Hey, I mean, once the game is all said and done, there is few things satisfying as throwing things everywhere and not having to worry about cleaning it up.
So I think we might be ready to get started.
Yep, I think the two players are finalizing their comms and getting things set. So as you can see from the board, we'll be looking at the perspective of Jack. Jack is going to be running with the classic control squad, the blue yellow heroes, although you do note that Freyhill is in the game as well. She is a blue-green hero, but this is kind of your very standard, very typical control oriented, push-oriented team. Whereas Ricardo, again, continuing to make Kurimo great again, has gone with the red-green selection for all of his heroes. So this is a all-factions game mode here. An all-factions game to look at in this mode. Every squad will be represented, and looks like we've got our victory conditions set up on the board.
Yep, so the victory conditions, 3 flip each game, in addition to destroying the opposing Nexus. And here we have Skyter Master win the lead of a control token inside a dome 3 times. Right Breach, destroy the enemy tower on your right lane. And the Tamer, defeat 2 enemy heroes using an outsider. So, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure the dome is going to be very important in this game.
Well, interestingly enough, based on the results of the coin toss here, obviously I'm not sure who won the coin toss per se, but it does look that Ricardo has been given control of the outsider selection, and he has actually chosen to bring Lord of the Ancestors. When I was doing the setup, I actually thought that the players were reversed, because in my original assessment, the original outsider would seem to be more of an attacking outsider that Ricardo might have favored, whereas the Lord of the Ancestors, very control-oriented. And yes, exactly, and push-centric. But they actually were on the opposite sides of the table, and it seems that Ricardo has elected then to bring his outsider as opposed to Jack. So we'll see then what the results are, but the Lord of the Ancestors, not exactly the most aggressive of the outsiders.
No, but
makes me think Tamer.
Looking at Ricardo's list, he's titled it Slow Squad. So maybe he's planning less of a kill-heavy game and more of a push in the lanes, just slow, incremental, grinding out.
This is
we're in here with the first picks. I mean, and they're going through the picks very quickly. Okay, so Ricardo's side of the table already full. We've got Sakoshi, Hogasai, Zako, and Akla. How do you
Hokusai,
feel
in
about this?
particular, I love it. In particular, again, as our regular viewers will know, I like to try and dig into the players' decks a little bit to try and cheat sheet and make myself appear smarter than I really am. My personal favorite about commentating Ricardo's games is he always gives little notes on each of the heroes in the decks. You can kind of do that to state what they're for. Hokusai is currently labeled as the slower.
Yeah, he's got 3 copies of Not So Fast, 3 copies of Shield Slam, and 1 Dragon Punch.
Yeah,
and
so
it's not the only copy of Dragon Punch he has in this list. There's also 1 sitting on Sakoshi and 1 sitting on Zakol, so that's all 3 copies. And just to clarify, we are still on the old Frenzy rules, right? Because
that is correct.
that Akla's packed full of Frenzy. 2 Burning Rage and 3 Unstoppable.
Hey, we don't need the new summer rules to make Akimo great again.
Okay, and how about on the other side of the table? So Jack's bringing Kanui, Shilave, Ekrit, and a Strider. So very push heavy, focusing on killing minions, and Kanui should be nice to round out the protection.
Yep, it is. Again, as we said earlier, this is your very classic control push centric style build here. We can only hope to see Kanui die a number of times. That will make everything right with the world.
And the full 3 redirects coming in with a Crete, plus 2 nature reclaims, and 2 time warp. So that's quite a lot of -1s. Something to watch out for.
Yep, and we notice as they're going through the mulligans, the Mind Palace was sent to the mulligan pile. Something we didn't notice yesterday at all, did we?
Oh, in the Wacky game?
Yes. So as avid readers of our newspaper that is published weekly, thanks to keeping everyone engaged, we attempted to do a wacky game mode wherein we started off by having all heroes with 5 mana from turn 1, Kirito versus Mikhail, which was a lot of fun to watch. And unfortunately, due to some technical errors, we weren't able to record it live. So we used some offline broadcasting to record it, but unfortunately we weren't able to save the entire file. We only got about the first 15 minutes of it, which was a whole lot of setup and mulliganing, which I know is fascinating to watch as a viewer. But it was a wild and wonderful game to watch, where Setharu managed to deal 40 damage across 3 different heroes before Kirito even got to take 1 activation, which was awesome to watch. So we're gonna try and do a reshoot of that sometime later this week, because it was too funny and too hilarious not to share with the rest of the community. So please do stay tuned to see that coming. But in the meantime, it's time to get into this game as the first hero activation is taking place.
And Kanui's jumping straight into action with a move right into that bush. Bush is very important in this game for blocking line of sight from heroes that aren't adjacent, and a lead from hand, along with placing her illusion next to her, means that she ain't going to be getting hit anyway. And she's going to be contributing probably 3 to that lane.
Yep, generally speaking, when you lead from the hand, you want to lead with 3. And that's one of the reasons why we did make that rule adjustment a little ways in. When you lead from the hand, you place the card vertically. When you lead from the deck, you place it horizontally, because when it's from the deck, unless you've predicted, it's kind of a crapshoot to know whether you get 1, 2, or 3. But from the hand, it's pretty certain it's a 3 or perhaps a 2 at a minimum.
And looking at Jack's average for the heroes he's picked, he's sitting at a plus 1.06 average modifier on his team and a 2.06 average mana cost. So most of those leads from hand and most of the leads from deck are going to be a fairly reasonable shot at a high contribution to control value.
Indeed. And in the meantime, we see that the slower is how we're going to refer to Hokusai this entire game, because I love that subtitle. Hokusai has in fact already began doing the slowing, as Ekrit got hit with a slow from Not So Fast. Very useful, because Ekrit is widely known as the obnoxious mage who waltzes into the dome, lays down her illusion token, and lasers down an entire side of your starting minions with her illusion passive.
Yep, and to be able to do that, it's gonna need to pull out the stops. There are copies of Charm in the deck that could get rid of the slow. I'm looking for Swiftness could effectively cancel it by providing a creep with fast.
Yep, but it looks like in the meantime, Astrida is going. So Astrida going to shapeshift with the worship action, it looks like, and pinging Shalavi for something.
I think
No, I'm sorry.
Shalavi is activating,
Yeah, Shalavi activated.
worshipping
Mhm.
to place the shapeshift token on Astrida so that
Yes.
she'll start her turn nice and ready to kill some minions. And then Shalavi's moving into the dome, and I'm guessing, well, Cat worshiping herself.
My guess is
So
probably
maybe a lead?
Yeah, I would say that at this point, if she's going into the dome, unless she just wants to waste the action or potentially skirmish, she could move into range to skirmish attack Hokusai and then provide support for the right control zone. But nope, there's the lead.
And there it is.
And again from the hand.
Yes. So 2 strong leads we can assume. On the other side of the table, Hokusai being the only hero that's been activated so far for Riccardo, but he has also leaded. However, that is a lead from the top of the deck. And looking at the stats on that, he actually has better odds than Jack. With a 2.13 average mana cost in his deck, a lead from the top is looking pretty reasonable for Riccardo in this game.
Well, instead of leading from the top, he looks like he's going for some offensive action, although there is a lead to finish the round. But he decided to send Zackle into the dome to start contesting against Shalavi, attacking her, dealing 5 damage, actually pretty good opening damage. None of Jack's heroes have a whole lot of armor. All of them are 1 armor or 0 armor. So I do expect to see high skirmishing action coming from Riccardo, as well as attacks once the mana gets rolling.
And it is nice to squeeze that damage in on Shalavi before her revenge is active, because that can seriously mess with any attempts to attack.
Yep, revenge.
How do you feel about? How do you feel about no pillar here? Because
from
I don't know.
Riccardo?
Yeah. I feel like you want the pillar.
Well, in this case,
the push and
consider
the
the forces, right? Consider what each of the green heroes' pillars bring. So Zackle's pillar allows him to push an enemy if there's a push them 1 hex if there's a pillar. If you push Shalavi right now, she's still inside the dome, so that doesn't really get us anything. Whereas for Akla, his pillar basically allows him to see anybody that's hiding in a cover hex. There's nobody in a cover hex except for Kanui. So
it also lets him see to the dome from outside inside, meaning he could potentially see Shalavi. So if
he is out of range, Akla is out of range. So I mean,
right at the minute, yeah.
He may just want to move in. So we'll see, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. So
looks like Jack is going for skirmishing as well here.
Is this with a creep?
No, this is going to be with Eckert, because that's really the only way she's going to get any movement.
Yeah.
Being crippled by the slows, so she'll skirmish into range of Zackle probably, and then the Sky Tier Flex coming out already. So being first, Jack does get the use of the Sky Tier Flex.
Here we go.
To move 1 additional square.
So, despite all odds, achieving the typical first turn accurate play, and probably swinging over control of that dome unless Riccardo commits another hero.
Yeah, basically, if we assume that because both of them led from hand, I would assume both of those are 3 mana leads. So currently Jack controls the dome by 3 points, by 1 point. He controls it 4 points to 3 points.
Yes.
But right now, the fun part here is, again, the left lane completely devoid of Riccardo's minions, thanks to the Eckert laser line special.
Yes, and already sat with a Kenui. So that's probably 6 points in lane already to the 0 currently on that side of Riccardo, and Akla moving straight into the dome for some action. Do you think we're going to see some blood?
I mean, they're definitely going to start slashing each other up. With the Dragon Punch flip, though, we're not going to have too much damage here. Shalavi will sustain a few points,
attack.
however.
I think 2 zeros were flipped there. Oh, 0 plus 2.
And there's the pillar that you wanted to see earlier.
I'm so used to. I mean, that game we saw yesterday had
6 pillars.
I lost track of how many pillars. Yeah,
I
there
think
was a lot going on.
Yeah, there was. And again, we will be doing a regame. Carito and Mikhail graciously consented to play another round of that for your entertainment and ours. So we will make an announcement. We're going to try to do that one live, and tune in if you can. It was a blast.
So just while we're waiting on the player decisions, the outsider here, obviously very important given Skytear Master and the Tamer being objectives. And thus it's going to come into contention, and it's definitely going to come into control for one player or another. How much do you think he's actually going to do? Because let's be honest, Lord of the Ancestors is not the right guy to get the Tamer done.
Right. So again, I think the Tamer is likely out. Although, given that Shalavi doesn't have a whole lot of armor, if she's weakened, Riccardo may attempt to get a kill off of that way. But I suspect the Lord of the Ancestors will mostly be used for his pushing capabilities. Obviously, right breach being a victory condition.
Yep.
If you
always
get
relevant.
Lord of the Ancestor, you get a significant boost towards your goals of the right breach, whether you are Jack or Riccardo here. As you can see, Jack attacking the minion with Estrada, spawning others. If we get the Lord of the Ancestors, that sets up for a situation where Riccardo has to defend heavily in round 2.
Right, and we can see that now in both lanes, even on the first round, where most of his power cards aren't online, Jack's managed to get a lane advantage in both lanes while still having a decent showing in the middle.
Yeah, he's got, actually, unless I am mistaken, which is quite possible here, I think he may actually have control in all 3 lanes. Although the dome, the dome with moving his final hero Sakoshi into the dome there, that should, assuming that again both players led with 3 manas, that will give him control of the dome by 1.
Yes. And that's a lot of damage to Shalavi.
Okay. So remember what I just said about killing Shalavi with the Lord of the Ancestors. This is now a possibility. Sakoshi is the last hero of the first round activations, which means that after this, it's time to resolve. So we may actually see a case here where...
And getting it done on the first turn is... The Tamer's viable.
Yeah. Meanwhile...
as soon as round 2.
So let's see what happens here.
Next on the kill list, maybe?
Yeah, obviously the Karimo worship action allowing us to mark and gang up on one person. Particularly fun and effective whenever you have Yami and Kichi on your team. But nevertheless effective for all of them. So let's go ahead and resolve here. We're moving control zone 1. As we can see, Kanui had a 3 mana lead as we suspected, plus 2 2 minions there as well, means that the control zone 1 pressed against Riccardo's tower here. Again, I expect the same thing in control zone 2 as well.
Which is definitely the more important one for Jack. I mean, it's nice to have that left lane pushed up so he has less fear of a right breach himself. But it's the right lane being against the tower that really threatens that right breach as soon as next turn.
Yeah, so we talked about a quick win from outside, from the Tamer perspective, but in this case, as we can see here, there's currently 5 minions to Riccardo's 2 on lane 2, and that control token is pressed against his tower, which means that, and given the fact that we're only in round 2, Dragon Punch is not available to clean up the minions. So Riccardo will need to do some sort of damage control there, or that tower is going to get one shot as soon as we resolve control zone 2 next round.
Yeah, for sure. No Dragon Punch and no Flux to get to it early. Looking through the list now to see if there's any other answers available. We usually see some quick shot coming from these red lists, but no quick shot in this one.
Nope. This is the slow squad, not the quick squad.
Yeah. So what could there be?
Well, you could always potentially. No, wait a minute. That's his ultimate. That's going to be a 3 mana cost as well.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything really from the coal pillars, I guess.
Well, the important thing to remember is dead heroes can't lead.
That's very true.
Like Shalabi, for example, is now dead thanks to the Outsider's attack. So that gets 1 mark for the Tamer, but also puts her out of touch in the second round. So this gives Riccardo a little bit extra breathing room here. And so my guess is if he sends Hokusai back to clean up a minion, and then he sends 1 more of his heroes over there with a 3 control lead, or actually even if you just kill 1 of the minions and have Hokusai lead as well, I think you should, with that many minions, you should be able to prevent a 1-shot of your tower, although it will be significantly damaged in going into round 3. But it is possible, I think, then to set up if you do enough focus, you may be able to set up a kill where you can, if you get control of the Sky Tier Dome again in round 2, that we just get the Lord of the Ancestors to maul the second enemy hero from Jack's side, and then Riccardo can take a Tamer win.
Yeah, and speaking of that, important to note, what the Tamer is now active. The Lord of the Ancestor did just finish off Shalavi, resulting in Riccardo sitting on 8 cards now at the end of round 1. We'll have to discard down to 6, but that's plenty of options available to him on how he does want to deal with these minions pressing up on his right tower.
Yep, and it looks like he decided to go with discarding a Clear Mind and a Thorn Roots. Clear Mind, obviously, kind of very useful for removing any status effects that your heroes are affected by, and Thorn Roots useful for preventing movement effects from the enemy heroes. But at this point, both of those seem to make sense to me as discards. It doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of what's the word I want? Negative status effects applied based on the heroes that have been drafted. So Clear Mind not serving as much use there. And then Entangling Roots, again, Riccardo has, I would argue Riccardo has reasonable control of the board. Obviously, again, we mentioned that. So here's the problem. I make that statement. Obviously, both of the control zones are pressed against Riccardo's towers right now, so that's not a good board state. However, given the objectives and given the fact that Riccardo has 4 heroes to Jack's 3 heroes, it gives him a certain advantage as well in terms of what pressure he can apply.
And a Strider moving up here to keep the pressure going in the right lane for Jack. Not wanting to give Riccardo a chance to move in there and do some cleanup. He's going to clean up a minion himself and most likely spawn another.
Indeed. I think at this point, it looks most likely that Riccardo is just going to sack lane 1 and focus his efforts on the dome and preventing the right breach victory. That would be my guess.
For sure.
We'll see if that plays out there.
No additional minion spawn from a Strider. She was not shapeshifted on this particular day, so just the move and attack so far. And I think Tamer is the route to victory for Riccardo here, definitely. He's looking at his list again. It's very much focused on a game where he's expecting the hero kills to be important and the positioning of heroes to be important more than minions or pushing lanes.
Indeed. And as we noticed, Estrada did lead from the deck. So again, we want to prepare
Yeah.
for the worst case scenario. Let's assume that that's a 3-mana lead there. That would give a total control of, let's see, 5 minions plus 1 plus 3. So that would give a total control value of 9 to Riccardo's 2 at the moment, meaning some of those minions have to die, or Estrada has to get knocked out of the position that she's in.
Or knocked out of the game entirely.
Also an option as well, yes. Estrada does have 14 HP left, and with 1 armor, if, well, it is a little bit early still. If it was round 3, I'd say that we could potentially watch Akimo Berserker go rampage and cut her down potentially, but... Akimo's not in here. Never mind. We can't watch that at all.
I have to point out, make Akimo great again, not flying the flag today.
No, I forgot. I was looking at the thing and I mistook Sakoshi as Akimo, so definitely not going to be an Akimo rampage.
Chat saying Estrada is the target for Tamer kill number 2.
Yeah, I agree with chat on that. Estrada obviously has 14 hit points. She's out there by herself, obviously, as we mentioned. With their illusions, each of their illusions, Kanui is more difficult. You can't directly attack her while she's next to her illusion. Ekarit's just, kind of hanging out there and a little bit annoying. So I would say that Estrada is probably the obvious go-to for Tamer kill number 2.
I feel like no matter who the go-to is, they need to be within 3 hexes of Hokusai, because it's going to be either Ekarit or Estrada, and both of those packing an armor each. If they're marked and within 3 of Hokusai, that armor's going to melt away.
Yep. He literally burns away their armor as part of his marked passive, which is awesome.
And he doesn't even have to do the marking, so Sakoshi could get in there for some extra value.
The question then is, okay, so, let's never mind. Before I pose that question, we'll wait to see what Kanui does here with her activation, because depending on how she behaves, my question might not matter at all.
Yes. And one thing that we haven't seen so much this game, but is relevant, is that passive granted by Acrobatic Escape, Kanui. So all projected heroes from the illusion, meaning Ekarit, may move a hex whenever they lose HP. So if the bricks get turned on Ekarit, then she can just dodge out the way in 1 or 2 hits.
But not if Dasloa has anything to say about that. A number of twisted roots thorn roots, not twisted roots. A number of thorn roots are sitting in the deck there with Zoko on the field. So could be possible that
that's very true.
We play that and then she doesn't get to dodge out.
Although I have a feeling Zoko might be heading over towards Estrada to try and push her out of range of that control token.
Yes. Again, the board state, as I mentioned earlier, so Riccardo has some advantages gaining the Tamer kill early in round 1, but both of those control tokens are pressed up right against his towers, which means that if he doesn't do something about the minions, his Nexus could easily be exposed as well. I said that there was a chance he might want to just sack the left side of our screen, his right side, tower, but then again, with Kanui moving into position there, that might not be the best plan, because she's got a lead token as well, which guarantees that tower, or excuse me, not a lead token, a leading card as well, face down on her from the hand, which guarantees that's probably at least a 2. And so unless Riccardo interferes, that entire tower is gone.
We can't ignore the fact either that given the state of Jack playing first and losing Shalavi at the end of that first round, unfortunately, he only has 1 hero left to activate it. And then Riccardo's going to have run of the table for 2 full activations in a row. That's a lot of power to decide where he wants to commit resources and what lanes he wants to win.
That's true. Of course, again, the other option too, as we said, dead heroes can't lead. So Astrida can sit there
Yes.
all she wants. She's got 9 HP. So it may be the case that we just take her out straight off the board, because then that takes away a lot of leading power and will allow Riccardo to regain control of Control Zone 2.
And Astrida taking another hit, getting knocked down to 5 HP. Definitely within shouting range from Lord of the Ancestors.
All right, so now the final hero for Jack's move here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have, I believe, one move left from Riccardo here. Or perhaps it just didn't show up on the screen. That's fine. So in that case, it will be time for Ekrit to make her moves.
No. He's just played a Burning Rage.
Okay.
I don't know if we can see that on the stream. So Sakoshi has just played a Burning Rage, and he's got another action available to use that second attack. We may... Oh. Now I'm confused that Jack clicked Worship. I'm assuming that click was a mistake, and we're about to see...
Well, what happened was apparently we just missed the second attack, and that's what brought Astrida down to the 5 HP. So they rolled it all in together.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Which would also explain why the third action didn't appear. So we did miss that one part. Frenzy obviously still behaving a little bit differently. We mentioned earlier the new summer rules. One of the new summer rules, as I'm sure many of you are familiar with, is that Frenzy got a massive buff, wherein if your hero has the Frenzy buff active and you've declared an attack action, you may remove the Frenzy token and then take another additional attack afterward. Currently, right now, we're still on the old rule set, which just says that if your hero has Frenzy, he or she may declare 2 attacks in the same round, each one using one of your action points. So that's what Sakoshi did. He made a move and then made 2 attacks using the Frenzy buff.
And I have to say, I played against Jack in the first round of the Summer League, which has just started, and that is using the new Frenzy rule. And I was using the new Frenzy rule a lot. And he was using, I believe, this exact list. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance, even then, with the new Frenzy. So Riccardo's going to be having a tough time of it here, although a much better player than me. Of course, the creator of the game.
I mean, but that's part of what the leagues are for, is gaining experience, learning the rules, and finding your own personal play style. And that's one of the reasons that Sky Tier is a lot of fun. You know, we've seen control decks succeed. We've seen aggression decks succeed. A lot of the by-faction win rates are very similar to each other. I forget the exact percentages, but they're all hovering right around the same amount. I remember that Kirito shared those stats in the Discord a little while ago, and that to me is the sign of a good game, is that there's a number of different play styles, and the fact that, okay, if I want to win, I have to pick blue or I have to pick green or what have you, which makes this game, you know, very, very well put together and kind of something that makes it very easy for drawing in new audience members, since it doesn't force you to play one specific style.
So Jack having finished his last activation now, we have Akla and Zakol left on the side of Riccardo's table. I'm guessing we're going to see some sort of push for a tamer kill.
Well, here's the problem. So Ekrit has led in the dome, right? So Ekrit, we have to assume she has 4 control points herself, plus I'm going to assume that's a 3 mana face down card. So that means in order to do that, both Akla and Zakol will have to sit in the dome. One of them will have to lead with a 3 mana card. Now, what are the ramifications of this? Well, first of all, that means in Control Zone 1, that tower explodes, which I think Riccardo has resigned himself to, and that's perfectly fine. It's not going to end the game for him. The problem is that in Control Zone 2 then, if Astrida has a 3 mana lead here and Hokusai does not, that causes a situation where the tower may end up going boom.
I don't see that right side tower from in lane 2 going down this turn. I can see it taking a few hits, but I don't think Riccardo's going to let it stand with 2 full heroes left to use here.
So then the trade-off is if we protect the lane 2, that's going to necessitate one of the green heroes leaving the dome.
Yeah.
Which then means that at best we get to force a tie in the dome, and so therefore no outsider control.
So let's count it up at the minute in lane 2. We have a Strider with a blind lead. The average is 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Against 1, 2, 3, 4 with a blind lead from Hogasai. So there's only 1 point in it right now, if we assume that their leads are equally powerful.
Okay, so based on that defense, it does not look like the tower will actually expire. So that's good. Because he would have to lose by 7 in order to have the tower explode, which is not possible with the current state. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and contest the dome. That makes perfectly good sense there.
And if you were able to push this Akri out of the dome, that'd be fantastic. However, her illusion is currently stopping that from happening.
All right. Well,
so
meanwhile,
we see a blazing edge from Akla. Is it Akla? Yep.
Yes, Akla is currently going.
And then attacking for 5++ piercing. The push?
No, not the push. Remember, she's projected, so she gets Kanui's
oh, right. Yeah. Yes. As I mentioned it earlier.
Yep. So she's going to
be the one to remember
maneuver
that.
So now this may be the case where we set up Kanui as the tamer kill target. Might be the case here because you can, given that everybody's already.
Kanui?
I'm sorry.
You mean a Kree, right?
I do mean Akrit. I mix those two up all the time because I see their cards and they both have, like, to me, the same, very similar visual animations, and so I end up shuffling the two all the time.
And there we see Kanui pulled up on the stream. Thank you very much, Giacomo.
So an attack action and a skirmish action has been taken now. I assume we would do a lead for the last one, because
unless he has a way to get frenzy, although he's used his 2 mana already, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's probably lead, right?
Yeah, she's no longer adjacent to the pillar, so.
They're still resolving the move from the skirmish, or finished now, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Riccardo's still got 4 cards in his hand. He is actually going to go with the worship action. Okay, fair enough. I wonder then. I wonder then if with Zackles, if the plan is just to use the collapse ability, where the worship action, when Zackle takes it, remove a pillar and then deal 1 plus a flip damage. Oh no, that's to an enemy minion, not an enemy hero.
Yeah, that is a minion. He can't unless the illusion's still sitting under Akla, so Akrit is still safe from that push. Yes.
Because normally Zackle's massive blow ability, being in range of the pillar, would allow him to push an enemy 1 hex, but the acrobatic, I'm sorry, not the acrobatic escape, the Lady of Gales passive from Ekrit will prevent her from being shoved out of the dome. Oh, however.
And flipping a +3 is going to take Akrit right down to the same as a Strider. Some people in the chat will call in a Strider for the tamer kill. Some people will call in Ekrit. Could be either way. Whoever's close to where he spawns, I imagine.
Well, in this case, Ekrit has, so in order to get control of the dome, there it is. There's the lead action for Zackle. So that, assuming that they both led with 3 mana cards, that will give Riccardo control of the dome again during round 2, getting him a second Sky Tier Master token, and then allowing him to do what he would like with the Lord of the Ancestors.
It's definitely going to be difficult to secure a kill with the Lord of the Ancestors, though. With only a 2+ attack and no actions that,
even
conducive towards damaging heroes, he's left with just the skirmish and the flips to hope.
Yeah, even with a
hits
+3 attack, that won't kill him. I mean, I guess my use then, again, obviously Riccardo being the better player, so he might not do the same. My usage, I guess, would probably involve the Invoke the Ancestors ability, which would allow him to place an extra friendly minion, kind of shore up the right side breach defense. Obviously his left lane, Jack's right lane. My guess is prevent that would be the likely call. Because in this case,
I mean, he's definitely going to get the opportunity to shore up to shore up the lanes here and sort of start a defense against the looming threat that is right breach.
Yes, and if he does win the dome again here in round 2, at that point Tamer doesn't become the victory condition, because in round 3 you won't kill anyone with the outsider. If you gain control, you'll just immediately win via having 3 control zone tokens in the Sky Tier Master category.
So in the length of the very short sentence you just uttered, the tower was blown up.
That tower got one-shotted. So now Nexus Smasher RiccardoNeri is on the defense against a Nexus Breach victory.
Potentially.
Right.
Got that word mixed up. So we see only a lead of 2 from a Strider against the 3 on Hokusai.
All right, so
was it a 1 on Hokusai? No, that was the not so fast that he played earlier in the round. It was a 3 on Hokusai, so I think they break even in the second lane.
That appears to be the case, because we're just spawning new minions down there. And so now control token order becomes very important, right? Because Riccardo wins with a 3rd control zone 3 victory. However, right now control zone 1 is pressed against Riccardo's Nexus, and there is 7 control points, not counting any leads, currently on Jack's favor, which means Riccardo has to stop Nexus victory from occurring.
And no more minions spawning in that lane for Riccardo. Always important to note, if you don't have the tower in a lane, you can't spawn minions. So round 2, tower down, Nexus victory possibly incoming. Pretty crazy.
So in this case,
and he has 2 chances, because if he doesn't get the Nexus victory, then he gets the chance to have the right breach before Jack has the chance for either of the... before Riccardo has the chance for either Tamer or Sky Tier Master.
Yes. So the important thing to remember, again, dead heroes can't lead. So there are 2 heroes right now with 5 hit points. Both Ekrit and Astrida only have 5 hit points. If Riccardo kills both of them, then that's
it's going to be hard to push those lanes.
Yeah, it's going to be much easier for him to defend the lane. So Astrida taking damage from the Lord of the Ancestors attack during the Ancestors activation, that's going to significantly help him if he wants to try and go. Now that we're in round 3 here, it's time to let the ultimates fly. So if he can get rid of Astrida, that will secure the right breach victory from happening. He then only needs to defend his left side from having the Nexus destroyed. gets the zone control again, giving that he would have a 4-3 hero advantage, and then he can potentially win via a Sky Tier Master play. So let's see how this unfolds as we head into round number 3.
And I have a feeling this might be the last round of the game.
Almost certainly. One way or the other, I'm pretty sure this game is over at the end of round 3. By the end of round 3.
And it's worth noting that it can't end before. Given the victory conditions, the only time for a game to end is in that minion phase.
That is correct. Yeah. Given the
already outside of phase.
Control. Well, we will wrap up the minion outsider phase all as one, really. So I would agree with your statement. Yeah, this will allow every hero to go unless they get defeated before they get to go. So we'll see. If I were Jack, I don't know. What would I do? I would say my impulse is to have Estrida do something, because it's almost certain she's about to be defeated.
Yeah.
But there's merit.
But the problem is, I suppose it doesn't matter when they die, right? Doesn't matter. You want to get them used before they die, because the game's not going to go to round 4, never mind round 5.
Exactly. Yeah. Normally, you want to balance the fact that a defeated hero that is exhausted does not come back until the turn after next, versus if a hero has not activated, they come back next round. But in this case, given that the game ends one way or the other, I think at the end of round 3, what is your play here?
My play is Song of the Siren.
Oh.
If it's available. That could definitely help turn the tide.
Song of the Siren being Estrida's ultimate to instantly exhaust a hero, that would certainly make it worthwhile. Because while dead heroes can't lead, exhausted heroes can't really do that either. So that would certainly put a hamper on the plans.
And it looks like Estrida is going to activate here. Hovering them at least.
All right, here we go. She's on the move. Maybe nope. Just kidding. False alarm.
Just check the whereby.
Not a problem. All right, so still considering the movements that are possible here with Estrida. Estrida is not currently shapeshifted, so she can't use her ability to drop down HP. It's very clear to me that Riccardo intends to kill off Estrida. I think that seems to be the play. So, perhaps make it a little bit easier if you shapeshift, kill a minion, use the shapeshifted ability in order to spawn another minion. That gives you at least some semblance of control in the right lane, but there is certainly merit to leaving her with 4 hit points and then hoping that on a flip, Riccardo does not get high enough in order to defeat her with one attack action or whatever have you, and so therefore having to spend additional actions in order to kill her. Of course, retreat is also an option as well. It may be the case that you want to pull her back, but again, due to the fact that control zone 2 leading into the right tower, Jack's right breach victory condition, pulling back like that doesn't seem to offer any particular advantages to me based on the board state here.
It looks like still deciding exactly what to do with that Estrida. She's definitely close enough to both Sakoshi and Hokusai to neutralize.
Oh,
if he does have the Song of the Siren.
Here we go, though. It looks like she's going to use Time Glitch to speed herself up.
And I believe that's in response to his own move action.
Yes, because Riccardo has not played any power cards himself. So Estrida removing the slow and converting that into fast now allows her to move 5 spaces instead of 1.
She a speedy gal.
Apparently, mermaids have learned how to move quickly on land.
She's just slithering.
Apparently. So we'll see where she decides to slither right to here. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily the fast buff she was looking for. It was more she wanted to get rid of the slow. This allows her to duck into the cover hex, and courtesy of all the minions plus the positioning of the Lord of the Ancestors, Estrida actually cannot be targeted. Because you have
it's definitely going to be difficult.
So unless there are cards in Riccardo's deck that target a space as opposed to requiring a target itself, which luckily Hokusai's Supernova Ultimate does deal 4 damage to all enemies within 2 hexes. So if Hokusai kind of moves his position to where the control token was originally positioned, you will be able to catch her in the Supernova AoE. That might be a possibility, but Estrida will not be able to be directly attacked by Riccardo's heroes during this round.
I mean, there's always the option of killing one of the minions so that he can get closer.
He could,
but as we mentioned earlier, no quick shots coming from this list.
Right.
So no convenient way to do that.
And unless he has another frenzy-inducing card, by defeating the minion to get to Estrida, that's going to mean the only way that he'll be able to damage her is... Well, so here's the thing. Sakoshi would be able to do this a little bit easier because he's right there, because otherwise, if Hokusai, for example, was the one to go after Estrida, you'd have to burn your move action to get next to the minion, kill the minion, then you'd have to skirmish to get near Estrida after using your attack action to kill the minion, so you're basically done as Hokusai, although it does look like Sakoshi is going to be the activation of choice here, and he's going to head into the dome, so we're going after Ekrit, I would imagine.
I'm thinking he's seen what Estrida's done. Ekrit hasn't done anything yet, so we'll get rid of her while, before she gets a chance to hide herself potentially. And then maybe move back with one of the other heroes and finish off Estrida later, so that lead's not pressuring the lane.
All right. Well, meanwhile,
Time Warp.
Okay. That's going to protect Ekrit. Now, the question is there a Thorn card in Riccardo's hand? Because the Thorn card, the Thorn Root, would directly prevent the Time Warp from allowing her to escape. Thorn Roots being the card that negates any movement.
And we're on turn 3 now, so Sinkhole could happen too. Sinkhole's definitely a possibility.
True.
No slides in the list. And there we have a Thorn Roots.
There it is.
So the aforementioned card Commando was just talking about, Thorn Roots, will prevent the next movement effect, effectively countering the Time Warp.
Oh, and there's a +3 flip right there for the Supernova. Now, the good news is that means that Ekrit is dead.
It's gone.
That means that the Supernova card is not in Riccardo's hand, which means that we can't get Estrida in the AoE explosion. However,
right. And looking through Riccardo's bin real quick, there is a Shuriken Storm, there is a Supernova. The other 2 ultimates are not present, so still available potentially in his hand, and he did just draw 2 cards for that kill. So,
hear me out. Coma Toxin.
Yeah,
ultimate.
We saw a fantastic Coma Toxin yesterday. I can definitely see Akla moving over into the first lane.
and get them. That's what I think. That's a possibility we can use to get rid of Estrida. Since pillars, unlike miniatures, pillars will be able to work underneath the minions' squares.
That's not correct, is it?
Is it?
Don't you have to place it in an empty hex, completely empty?
Uh-oh. Let's find out. Luckily, we have the rules book because I am always wrong on the rules at least twice a day. So that's why I keep my rule book handy dandy. So whenever I say something on stream that's completely wrong and totally embarrass myself, I can go ahead and look this up. So the way that the talent worship action says is the following. Remove one friendly pillar token on the battlefield to trigger their skill with the worship icon next to it. Then place a friendly pillar token on a target hex without miniatures or tokens. Ah, you are correct. So never mind. That plan doesn't work.
No, the plan doesn't work straight up. But it potentially like using Hogicide maybe to clear that minion would allow Akla to get in there and Comatoxin with a pillar, or just with Hogicide aside.
Yeah, that is also the possibility. We might have to do a 1-2 punch in order to get rid of the Siren.
Oh, something's just popped up on my radar.
Okay.
Why use Comatoxin? Why use Akla at all when Hogicide's already there? Bang a Dragon Punch on him. You're good to go.
Aha! Good point, right? Because with Dragon Punch, we don't actually need to be able to see Estrida. We just nail everybody in the Dragon Punch AoE. And the bonus effect is we can position that to clean out 2 or 3 minions, depending on how you would orient that. Better plan.
And we know that there's 3 of them in the list, so
definitely
likely.
I think we've seen at least 2.
He has been through the deck at least once already, though.
Oh, that's true. He did.
Looking in the discard pile, all 3 Dragon Punches are in fact in Riccardo's discard pile.
So that's not an option.
No.
All right. Well,
it was nice to think about it for a minute.
It was a good idea.
I guess. All right. So another one. Let me just check the discard pile before I mention this, just in case they've all gone. Ooh, okay, so 2 of the 3 have gone, but there is still 1 copy of Sinkhole somewhere available for Riccardo.
Okay.
That could move Estrida to an unfortunate position where she's no longer in a cover hex.
That is true. Let's see. Well, actually, the problem is with that, you can't move Estrida because she's completely boxed in. Right? Because she's got minions and then Lord of the Ancestors as well.
Oh, right, of course.
And since Sinkhole specifically says that it moves each hero, that means that
so the Sinkhole's not working it. Really trying to think of an answer for Riccardo.
Let me see here.
But right now, Kanui is taking a presence action, so presence a very powerful card.
Yes.
Contribute 1 extra to control value. Nice to edge out those leads in lanes where you're previously tied. And predict 2, always nice, allowing him to know what's on top of his deck in order for the next attack, skirmish, or lead to hit the most valuable resource.
And so right now, Control Zone 1 has 8 points of value for Jack. The Nexus only has 5 HP. Now, I may be doing the math wrong, but I'm pretty sure right now that results in a Nexus destruction for Jack.
Let's see. Yeah, it's really going to be tough for Riccardo here. Sakoshi's already gone, so no Shuriken Storm. Supernova's gone, we know that. Totemic Slam does nothing. Gonna need some big leads in that lane just to...
So, going back to your
Not
sinkhole
die.
idea, the way I can see this working with the sinkhole idea is if sinkhole is used to push Kanui out of the range of influence. If you notice right now, she is 3 hexes away from the control token. So if sinkhole is able to pull her out, you could send in a hero, kill a minion, do some lead, and then your Nexus towers will only be damaged.
Yes.
Or I guess your next.
Although Kanui is yet to take an action other than that worship that we've just seen moving her illusion close by. So interesting.
We'll take a look and see what the game plan is here. But right now, I would say that Jack has a much better board state. Even though Ricardo is certainly at point on Sky Tier Master as well as Tamer. Obviously, again, Tamer doesn't matter anymore because as soon as he gets the 3rd token control for the Sky Tier Master, that'll give him victory. So we'll see what happens here. But this is still anybody's game. You know, this is not a, oh crap, I'm trapped and the game is over from either of these players. Both of these players can still find ways to take the victory in this match.
And throughout the whole match, really, we've seen Jack managing to operate pretty comfortably on the back foot in terms of, you know, how many heroes he has available. I think he's had 1 dead hero every round, potentially, right?
Yes. We had Shalavi defeated for round 2, and Ekrit is currently on the sidelines here in round 3.
Right, so looks like Kanui took a lead from the top of the deck. We usually call those a blind lead, but not quite in this case, with the presence coming first.
All right, I think
that's probably a 3.
Yeah, it's a 3 or a 2 most at the minimum. But I think at this point, if Ricardo doesn't have sinkhole, then Nexus destruction victory is for Jack is what's going to happen. I think that
he can push a 1 with Zakol as well if he's.
Oh, that's true. You're right. You're right. Now that I think about it, due to the fact that Ekrit's Lady of Gale's ability is no longer protecting her, he could actually just knock her out with Zakol. That's a good call. I did miss that. Good point.
Really, we want the sinkhole though, right? Always rooting for that sinkhole.
Yeah. It's always more fun when you watch someone get sinkholed, as long as it's not you.
Looks like he's just thinking about which hero to activate next.
Yeah, since with Kanui, there's nothing else really to do. There's no minions to attack. She has done her worship and her lead action. So her turn has been settled. Okay. So we're going with Hokusai.
Hokusai. Let's see what he has to offer. The big Bernie boy.
All right. Let's see what we got. Again, all of our AoE clearing abilities that we thought about, the ultimate, the dragon punch, everything, neither of those are available. So let's see what the burning armor plans to do here. Oh, nope. Akla's actually going to go.
Oh, Akla.
All right.
Maybe he's just baiting us.
We've been baited and outsmarted.
It's a very Ricardo thing to do, I feel.
All right. So.
Ping someone and then activate someone else. Just to confuse the commentators.
We've moved into the bush.
Yep.
Attack the minion.
Yeah, you got to do something about him, right?
Okay. The problem is, this is still not enough. Like, even if you lead, there are still 5 minions. No. So.
far from enough. But if he leads and pushes the Kanui away, that's suddenly much better.
True. Okay, so we've got
Plus, he's now produced. Yeah, and the pillar's good for two reasons, right? Because it turns on the push from Zakol, and it also allows Zakol to pop it right after and kill off one of those extra minions for free.
All right,
so that's definitely going to shore up the lane.
Yep. Meanwhile, it looks like the Lady of the Winter, Shalavi, back and ready for some more action.
Yeah, and I feel like we haven't seen much of Shalavi this game, and that's because she's melted so quickly. Yeah. Dead heroes can't represent.
Nope.
In any way, shape, or form, but she's back at full health now, sitting pretty at 18, and let's see who she decides to get down and dirty with.
Now, question in the chat that people were talking about. Obviously, we talked about Zakol's shove attack action. Whenever he's in line of sight with the pillar, he's able to shove a hero one square. The problem then becomes Kanui's acrobatic escape ability, and the question is which one resolves first? Because
I believe the sequencing there is acrobatic escape triggers on life loss, and Zakol's push triggers on damage, and damage is calculated before life loss because there's a step in between where armor's applied. So I believe Zakol would get to push her one hex, and then providing she was still in line of sight to her illusion, she would then be able to move one hex afterwards.
Which essentially means that she's going to go back to where she started.
Straight back.
So realistically, Sinkhole is the only answer here.
Yeah, definitely. Which explains the illusion being placed so carefully in that bush earlier.
Yes. Jack probably knew what the only way out for Ricardo was, and prevented that by moving her illusion. And also, again, similar to Estrada, that illusion, not in a position easily touched. So it's not like you can attack and destroy the illusion and then shove her with the remaining setup here.
So Shalavi, not so much of an assassin for the moment, going into the dome and deciding to try and tank it out with that shapeshift token. So now that she's shapeshifted, if she takes any damage, she'll be able to do a 1+ back to the attacker. Meaning, it's likely that Jack has a strong contestation in the zone, in the dome this round. Because Ricardo's really having to dedicate his resources elsewhere at the minute.
Yeah. So taking a look at this, that's one of the. Actually, this is one of the few scenarios that would come up wherein we might actually potentially see a round 4 if Ricardo is able to fend off the Control Zone 1 attack on his Nexus and defend the Control Zone 2 breach on Control Zone 2 right breach victory, and not get control of the dome, because I think the only way he does 1 and 2 is if he abandons 3. So we may actually potentially see a round 4 where Ricardo's base is in the shambles that looks something like the ancient ruins.
Yeah, and if it does get to that point, I don't see much of a way out. However, one thing that we should always keep in mind is the amount of cards in hand, because cards are a massive resource in this game, and Ricardo's sitting pretty right now. He's got 5 cards. That's almost a full grip. Jack only with 2.
All right, now the other thing that we could potentially have here is if Hokusai goes, attacks one of the minions in lane 2, and then moves into the dome and leads, he might still be able to retain control of the dome. We talked about this earlier. I don't think there's enough minions from Riccardo in Control Zone 2 that won't immediately wipe out the right side.
Yeah.
So as long as Riccardo is able to defend his Nexus here, actually, he might be able to.
He might not need to. Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, that's something I learned from playing Magic is that life is a resource, and I think in Skytear, your towers are a resource. As long as there's one tower left, you don't lose the right breach.
Oh, wait a minute. Riccardo may have an answer.
A dodge.
So here's what happened. Okay, that is brilliant. So what happened was, whenever Zackle shoved,
he pushed it.
He immediately dodged into the circle, into the hex that she just left, so she couldn't return there using the acrobatic escape. That is amazing. So now,
incredible play.
Control Zone 1. Just like that.
And that's what you get from the creator of this beautiful game we have.
And just
that's
like
that,
you
get insane dodges like that.
That might actually seal it to where Riccardo wins the game, I think. Because, yeah, now he just goes into Control Zone 3, takes control. He's not going to lose to Right Breach. He's not going to lose to Nexus Destruction. He can't lose control of the dome at this point. It's mathematically impossible. So I think at this point, Riccardo, I think it's going to be a Riccardo victory from Skytier Master.
It's certainly looking like it, and what a way to win the Outsiders League. I mean, I don't want to call it early, but
nor do I.
Pushing. I mean, we talked about it in the booth. We talked, you know, through all the possibilities, the sinkhole, the push from Zackle, why that wouldn't work. We didn't see that line of play.
No,
and it's often easier to see lines of play from the outside of a match than it is when you're playing in one. So crazy. I hope you lot in the chat are enjoying this right now. I'm having a blast watching this game. And I can't wait to watch it back as well and see all these crazy camera effects I hear you talking about.
Yeah, we would like to thank Giacomo here, providing support for his brother by being our cameraman. We appreciate him and his help here to bring you guys the view, the bird's eye view, the close-up view, all the views really, because this has been an action-packed game.
Hopefully we can get him to do the wacky game.
Oh, we're gonna get that to happen one way or the other. Like I said, I've gotten OBS installed now, so hopefully I can sort through that in the next couple days. I'm gonna talk to our good man Cruel, our resident Australian streamer who knows everything there is to know about streaming, and a couple of our other friends in Discord, and I'm gonna hopefully get that set up. So one way or another, we will be bringing that ridiculousness to a stream near you soon.
So, looks like there's only Hokusai left to act now.
Yes, because with Ekaret defeated, nobody else goes. So Hokusai goes in, leads from the deck, and so he leads from the deck. So I have to, if that's not a 3 lead.
Well, Sakushi already has a lead in the dome.
Oh, that's true. You're right. I didn't see that. You're right. Good point. Oh, but there's the sinkhole. There's the sinkhole.
Just to guarantee it?
Yeah. My guess is he's probably going to eject Shalavi out of the dome. And
maybe if he ejects Shalavi from the dome, he can also move himself back into that lane to add some pressure.
Yeah, that's true. You could potentially
depending on where the sinkhole.
Yeah, it looks like they're pinging. Okay, so we're apparently resolving Control Zone 3, and there it is. Victory by Skytier
Master.
There it is. Skytier Master victory for Riccardo. Good game, well played. Your Outsiders Skytier League champion is RiccardoNeri. Congratulations. Far less impressive when there's only 2 of us clapping. we're going to assume the rest of you were clapping as well.
Hey, I'm sure everyone at home is clapping right along with us there. Oh God, that dodge, that
was amazing.
Beautiful sequencing. I'm lost for words. Maybe we should join the players.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Let's confirm real quick if they're going to come to Whereby or if we should go to the Discord to talk with them after the game.
Yeah, I'm just opening Discord to check with them now. But guys, let us know if you enjoyed this game and stay tuned. We're going to have an interview with the players coming up real shortly so they can talk about their thought processes as we went through the game.
And also, after we conclude that as well, in approximately a little bit over a half an hour, about 40 minutes, we are going to set up for the 2v2 game mode of the week as well. So please do stick around. We've got tons of Sky tier action for you today. So we'll be with you in just a second here as we get an interview set up with the players. This is Commander. I think we do need Yakumo though to join us because he's the one streaming. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We've spoken. We are going to bring them into the Whereby channel here. So
yeah.
At this point, welcome Ricardo to.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. That was amazing.
That was such a strange game. I mean, it's like we have played two completely different games. I mean,
well, we don't have Jack in here.
Jack cannot join because we are 4 and it's the maximum for the room. So maybe I'll leave him the room afterwards for a couple of questions, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So
okay.
Then we'll bring Jack in as well.
We'll talk to Ricardo and then Jack.
Yeah. So it was like that. We were playing two different games. I mean, I was trying to kill people with this very weak outsider. It was such weird. It was pushing everything to me. So it was like a very race against death because my Nexus was very in danger, like always. I mean.
That's what we were saying. Normally, you've built the reputation as the person who wins by Nexus destruction, and meanwhile, your Nexus was the one that was about to be destroyed.
Exactly. But well, somehow I figured out the way to win just with the possible last activation before my Nexus crumbled to death.
Yeah, and that push was incredible. I mean, me and Commando were trying to talk for all the options before that happened, and we didn't see the push and then dodge in response. That was incredible.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the only way I figured out, because I also had the ultimate for Zakal, but I couldn't push any way further. So the only thing that I figured out can work was just block the only 3x away space, and yeah, that worked out.
Does the sinkhole not work?
Here, you mean on the side?
Yeah.
That worked out, but the problem is I needed to keep it for Shilavi ultimate because he had only 8 cards in the deck. I never saw that ultimate flipped in whatsoever way, so it was like 100% he got the ultimate card in hand, and he could treat both the dome and the lane with that. So I absolutely needed to block the ultimate with Sinkhole. Because it could also like go here with the ultimate and blow everything. So it couldn't threaten both the Nexus, the tower, and the dome with just one card. So I needed to do that. And I also because if you play the ultimate in response of my movement, it could end up here, but I was also able to pull it like there. So there was no chance for him to avoid it.
And rewinding just a little bit to the start of the match, talk us through the draft. Why no Akimo?
Because Akimo was like the superstar that I had with like a very crazy plan. He had like gank, frenzy, and mind palace to kind of gank.
I know.
Mind
That's why I'm
palace,
asking why
do
no
ultimate,
Akimo.
and do crazy stuff. But I wasn't brave enough to bring him to the table without the new frenzy.
Oh, I saw the list and I was like, what is he planning here?
Yeah, all the day with my brother, I was joking of doing this play like gank, mind palace, and ultimate, but I was not brave enough to bring him to the table. So shame on me.
There's no shame in that. Although, just for again for the viewers at home, as I mentioned, Riccardo does give very nice little subtitles, and we talked about a couple of them. Akimo is currently labeled as Peekaboo.
Yeah, Peekaboo. It was his role.
Definitely trying to get that MOBA flavor in there with the ganks.
Yeah. Again, shame on me. I was not
and so enough. We saw for most of the game that you were quite heavily under pressure in both the lanes, you know, from the first round until the end of the game.
Yeah.
We worried about, well, let's say we more concerned about right breach or losing your Nexus in the left lane.
Well, the point is, it's a game of time. You know, the towers are like the life points in Magic the Gathering or in any other kind of games. So it's a resource that you can spend to gain time to do your plan. So since I had absolutely no chance to push any lane or the Nexus, that was impossible with the list and against him, I just needed to survive as long as possible to try to win Skytermaster or the Tamer. So I tried to put on a safe my left lane. It was the most dangerous because for the right breach.
Yep.
And then I completely give up the right lane because I had no way to win the dome against presence and to hold on my left lane and also my right lane. So sometimes you have to give up something, a resource, and try to go all in to win before you lose. So that was my plan and that worked out.
Actually, a great point that I didn't even
think. And impressive to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Especially considering the win condition that you did end up going with was the last one to trigger in.
Yeah, and also
control turn order.
The outsider didn't help to this victory condition. So going backwards, I think I made a mistake choosing this outsider. I should have picked the other one. That would have made the Tamer so easier for me.
Yeah, so we were curious about that actually during the pre-game setup. Was the Lord of the Ancestors the outsider that you chose to bring with your team?
Yeah, and was my outsider, and I thought it was best regardless, but I didn't consider the Tamer. I did choose too quickly, and I made a mistake because 100% the other outsider would have been much better here. No doubt.
Now, one of the questions that the chat answer, they want us to ask you about the final movement with Kanui, about the tower hex. They're asking why Kanui was not able to move into the destroyed tower hex over where you're cursed.
It was able, and neither me or Jack thought about it.
So it was an oversight. All right.
Yeah. Mistake on both sides.
Wow.
Mistake on both sides. Big mistake on both sides.
Yeah, because
this was one of the rules we have changed it like before the release, because before was always blocking. So in my head, some rules are still old and I'm not used to the new iterations, the last iterations. And well, that was a huge mistake by me and by him as well.
That's incredible, actually, because that's where I was thinking as well. Was it the case that the Nexus or the hex that contained the tower originally was that then made impassable some way? But no, it just comes down to oops.
Exactly, that's true.
So let me ask you this. We've spoken to you a lot about a player. How are you as a developer? How would you look back on this Outsider League? We had about, I think it was approximately a little over 100 people that signed up for this, and with the coronavirus situation, in-person meeting has been difficult for making tabletop games in general happen. But, courtesy of Discord and the tabletop sim, we've seen a lot of growth. And I think it's really helped Skytier to expand and reach new people. So how have you as a developer, how are you...
Face the corona thing, you mean?
Right. Yeah. How are you seeing the progression of Skytier, both in general and as a result of the current,
Well, when everything happens, we did just launch the game, and everything was going very, very well. I mean, everyone was excited, stores were excited, and a lot of tournaments here in Italy and all over the country were starting to happen. And since we have built all our business plan and strategy on store play, the coronavirus was something like the worst thing that could happen to the game. I mean, closing the shop for an indefinite time of lapse of time with the real life game impossible to be played seems like a blast and like the death of the game or a very big smash to hit. But after the first few days of struggle, we kind of try to find some solutions. And we find out this big partnership with Covenant that helped a lot. We improved the tabletop simulator. We made all the tools for free, like online league and stuff like that. So we turned the bad into good. So we kept the players engaged in playing online, even if they couldn't play in real life. So the community grew, and it's now more tightened than ever. And all the ambassadors and the excited player are ready to go in their shop once they will reopen to start to try to start to build a local community to play. So I think we are definitely going in the right direction, and the game is very well healthy and ready to keep growing.
And for sure, and that's definitely going to happen because we've got the Into Ashes and the Ashen Pass coming up pretty soon.
I just got billed the other day for mine, so I know it's coming soon.
Yeah. Coming soon. Yep, I ordered mine too the other day.
Yeah, that single lane map definitely looks like fun.
Yeah, it should be. That's the point, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you're not having fun, why are you playing a game?
Yeah, exactly. Even if the COVID stuff delayed our main expansions, because a lot for many reasons, we try to make this on-the-fly expansions to try inject some little news in the game to try to shake a bit and give players some news to play with and be excited about. So I think we achieved this goal as well. So excellent. I think we're good. And also thanks for you guys to the awesome support for casting, for playing, for sharing, for everything. You're number one, every one of you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I consider it a privilege just to sit and watch top tier play.
That's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us too, Riccardo. And how does it feel to be sitting as the Outsiders League champion of your own game? It must feel pretty good, right?
I feel a bit bad. I mean, I didn't want to play competitive this league or either league because I kind of feel always bad because I don't know why. I mean, I'm a player like everyone else. Even if I'm the designer, I mean, I have not superpowers. I just play more games than everyone. And so I feel bad, and I don't know. I'm happy because a game is fun.
Don't feel bad. You should feel great right now. You're sat on top of the throne,
I kind of
looking down over.
I kind of feel the duty to show the community that Kurumo can have powers.
Yes,
and it has its own dignity, So I play with Kurumo Nupto, and Kurumo Tolut, and all three works great. So you can play them, and now with New Frenzy, you can really play them.
So you're saying we have succeeded
and also to
making Akimo great again?
Yeah, it is great again. Even if it's on a shelter, it's not played today, but he was watching and rooting.
And also to show the. Also to show the community that you're the only one who's allowed to get Nexus victories.
but I didn't get any, I think so. Again,
Oh no, but you prevented one.
Oh yeah, at least a couple of them. True.
Got 1 point on the defense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Riccardo, and congratulations. This was wonderful. This was a great experience to watch and to cast.
Thank you, guys.
We will blame Yakumo as appropriate.
Remember, folks, we have
always spam the GIF everywhere. Blame Giacomo.
Remember, we have the 2-on-2 coming up.
Oh yeah, wow! I will go to bed, but I will definitely see that tomorrow. I'm very curious to see how the 2v2 rules are evolving and match are playing, because it's very, very fun and promising.
Yeah, we've seen two different ways of 2v2 being broken in the past 2 weeks. I was a victim to one of them last week, so I'm interested to sit back here in the chat and see what ridiculous combination our players have come up with this time.
We'll find out, I guess.
Indeed.
Indeed. Again, thanks again. It was a pleasure to play and to have you stream the game.
Thank you for having us.
And one final thing. Thank you to all our viewers who've been watching along with us for this final. It's been an exciting time, and without you, there'd be no point in doing it. So stay tuned in.
Correct.
More action coming. We appreciate you. We love you.
Don't forget too. I think we're also going to talk to Jack for as well.
Okay, so I'm going to leave and
sure, of
let him
course.
join. Okay.
All right.
Thanks
So
again, guys. Bye-bye.
Congratulations. All right, so we're going to wait just a few minutes here, and then we will speak with our runner-up silver medalist Jack, who also fought his way through the Swiss rounds, through the knockout stages, and again, if it weren't for, as we have now found out, one misremembrance, the tables could have very much been turned then.
Okay, I've messaged him the link, so excellent. Should get in soon. Hello.
Jack, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right. So,
how are you feeling off the back of that?
It's very, very difficult with Riccardo.
I mean, it wasn't
especially playing against the creator of a game's got to be hard, right? But you put up an impressive fight, pushing the lanes in every round.
Yes, is Nexus destroyed is the object when the right lane is impossible.
And just to check, was there any damage dealt to the Nexus there at the end, or did it work out as even?
I calculate if Riccardo don't have a single, I win right lane, because ultimate kill 2 minions, and I win 9-2, and the right lane go on.
Okay, so the sinkhole was necessary.
Yeah.
I think we actually missed that when the game happened, the Dance of the Predator, and saw the sinkhole but not the dance. But yeah, definitely a counter there.
And dodge trigger me.
We were talking about that because we were thinking, how do you prevent Kanui from getting control? And we're like, well, Zako can push her out, but then the projected hero passive will allow her to move right back based on the order of resolution. And then he interjected with that dodge, and we're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Okay.
That was pretty much
the illusion. I put illusion this because he don't see the illusion with Akra.
Yeah. So you can't kill it and get rid of the effect.
Yeah, but dodge trigger. because I don't think.
So
I mean, it would have been pretty difficult to see that coming.
Sorry.
It would have been pretty difficult to see that coming. that dodge play.
Yeah. And I take a lot of damage with Sakoshi, Akra.
Mhm.
My heroes
Right, I
go
mean-
on very early.
From as early as round 2, you were fighting a hero down on your side, so it was impressive that you managed to maintain such strong dominance in the lanes, despite being a hero down at most times in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
So looking beyond this game and back at the league as a whole, what were your thoughts on this first Outsider League online? How did you enjoy the experience, as a player? We asked Riccardo from his point of view as a developer and a player, but how did you see the tournament and the build of the community, if at all, during this league?
The community is phenomenal. Very, very friendly player and very strong player.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe, America, all.
And I assume you're
Yeah,
you're entered in the summer league as well, correct?
Yes.
All right. Are
I
you- are
try.
you-
Yeah, me and Jack played in the first round.
Yeah.
God, okay.
He whooped me. So that's how that went.
Ah.
Well done. You've got that to hold on to at least. Got that victory from earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But I have to say, to get this far in the tournament, very impressive run you've had so far. You've been playing this Azorius 5.0. I see you've titled it for the whole league, right?
Yes, but I change a lot of card because new friends is very, very impressive and very strong. And
Right. So that's going from. So once the changes are in play, you're gonna make some changes to the deck. Once the rules changes come in.
Kenui is rework all because he is the disarm hero. She is the disarm hero, and
Yep.
Chasm. Asthma is important
Chasm.
with
Or charm.
Chasm. No, Charm. Charm is important with blue deck, but New Frenzy don't work with Charm. And
Of course, because they have to get rid of the token. So
yes,
yeah, I guess charm becomes less reasonable
yes.
in the non-blue matchups.
And I use Freyel a lot
Mm.
because she's a healer.
So how come the choice not to use for a hell today?
Because Astrida pushing for right lane or Nexus.
Okay.
Ekrit is the core because she is the best character for me.
Mhm.
Yep.
Shilavi,
No argument there.
Shilavi is versatile because attack 4++ and
Mhm.
and have the ultimate very, very strong for surprise.
Mhm.
And can we I take for prevent kill my heroes, but don't work. Doesn't work.
Some of the time it works.
Well, nevertheless, it
And
was
then
still a very impressive game played by both of you.
Thanks a lot.
And as one of the finalists, do you have any advice to give to newer players out there who might be looking at starting the game?
Repeat.
Yeah, just curious, as the finalist of the Outsiders League, if you have any advice or tips you'd give to newer players who are looking to improve their Skytear gameplay.
Yes, Skytear is one of the best game for my life.
That's a bold statement.
All right.
I play a lot
Okay,
of
so I'm
game.
seeing a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of pings in the Discord about the next game getting set up.
Uh-oh.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Commander or Jack?
Nope. I'm good.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you again, guys, for watching over on the YouTube channel. Stay tuned. We're going to be back soon with Carito and Mikhail, I believe, commentating 2 versus 2.
Thank you guys again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care and good evening.